hardly anyone fucking puts the stand-up charts on.
It does feel like a weird chart to even exist because it isn't.
What I find funny is that always in the top 10 there's Chris Rock stand-up, which is just like a bootleg of his bits that somebody's put up, and that's always beaten like fucking, I don't know, it's sure.
Yeah,
one of these other like actual podcasts that have just stuck it under the stand-up category.
But I used to like pure it being. I was in the charts loads because there was one time like I had like a loads. All the clips went perfectly at one time, and I got to like number 9, and I was after that. I was like, oh my god, I need to see where I am in the charts. And I'm like, it's kind of falling back a bit, but you were up there with like.
We used to be number 1 every week for a bit, and then I think more people have started listening. And actually, the cunts that always beat us is Bobby Lee and
Andrew Santino.
Arseholes. They ain't fucking, you know. But the fact that like we've even got as many people in Britain listening as they do.
Yeah, man, that's insane.
It's kind of mad because they're like such big comics, but
yeah, that's the thing. And there's some who I can't think who the other ones are, but there's some other big ones, and you guys like week after week just like fucking blowing them out of the water, man.
To be honest, I don't even look at it anymore just because I think when you start, but then I'm like, we've kind of been consistent for a while with the numbers and that, and I need to, there's hundreds of clips I need to do and stuff like that.
The clips are not happening this month. Like.
Yeah, after the Fringe, there's quite a big backlog even before that I've got to do. So, but it's cool, it's exciting, and it's just nice. That people seem to be enjoying it. You know what I mean?
And you're doing like the live ones as well, man. That seems like such a cool thing to do. I was meaning to come at that other one the other day, man. Couldn't get a chance. Was it fun?
It's great. Yeah, like it's been interesting because we're still trying to figure it out. That's only the third one we've done. But yeah, the other one the other day was fun. So what we've done was we had Paul Black in as a guest, who was great, who we'd never had on the pod before, but obviously he's just well known enough as well that we could bring him in.
Such a funny guy as well.
We tried him on a couple of times and he was always up for it, but just was busy for whatever reason. But we all know him, and obviously a lot of the audience did as well. It was quite good to get him in for that. And he's at the Fringe, we had CMB, but we gave out donuts because me and Steve, the first time we done the Fringe, we had this was at a time I used to have a joke about the fact that because at the time the only place you could get Krispy Kremes before they were just in like Tesco Express or whatever was in that shop that they'd built just outside Edinburgh at the side bypass. That was like the only one in Scotland.
The one where there's queues, people were like getting killed on the bypass to try and get to it.
People used to like come, like there was massive queues for Glasgow as well to just get donuts, and people do a donut run that'd be like a night. They would just go to Faye Glasgow to the fucking bit outside Edinburgh to go to Krispy Kremes and back. So I used to say, like, every year Edinburgh has the like biggest arts fest in the world, and nobody bats an eyelid, and then all of a sudden they build a fucking donut shop and there's queues in the M8. And so just off the back of that, we thought, well, why don't we call our show Krispy Kremes and Comedy? It was our first time doing the festival. Nobody knew me and Steve. We thought, if we offer a free donut, we'll get people in. And we ended up being in an empty shop space in what's now the Waverley Mall, which was the Princess Mall next to Waverley Station, and it was us and a bunch of other shows throughout the day. We were the only one that survived till the end of the run.
Really? Fuck.
Because we were getting out donuts, and it was like in a food court. But and we actually had to sneak them in every day as well, because there was a donut shop, there was a coffee shop across the road that sold donuts, and they were like, your dinners out of business. So we had to start getting one of these the sort of wee kind of like cool bags that you get for Sainsbury's. We used to have to put it in that and like sneak it in like contraband every day and then sneakily get them at the end. But because of that, we just thought it'd be nice, like now we've actually got an audience who are coming to see us, so we just gave out some Krispy Kreme donuts at the show.
I must feel pretty cool, man, like a bit of a milestone to become like back then when you and Steve were doing it in the Waverley Mall, because I've done a gig in there and it's depressing as fuck to do a gig in a shopping centre.
Have you done a gig there as well?
Remember, I think it was 2021, there was like, they tried to open that live music venue.
Oh, this is it. Because now shopping centres have always got these fucking axe throwing places, and you know, these kind of things that they try and make it. You go for a night out in these kind of.
Trying to think what it was. It fucking fell on its arse after a few weeks, but they were putting it in, and it was just like people just walking past. They didn't put the shutters down. So they're just a luggage shop.
We used to put the shutters down, so we'd basically lock people in. It's so banging, man. Somebody needed a piss.
Yeah, you're fucked. Yeah, it's bleak to do it in a shopping centre. It must feel cool to do it in the Monkey Barrel. It was in the big room, wasn't it?
I wouldn't. MV3, yeah. So it was. It was a nice. It's just cool to be able to. It's nice just to be at Monkey Barrel at all, because it's just the place to be for Fringe especially, and. Aye, no, it was great fun. So it's still something we're getting used to, but we just thought that would be a nice wee touch. And just because we've spoke about it in the pod before, and you're trying to think of wee things with the live shows. I think the thing is, you want to make it a different thing every time. So the first time we kind of like each stuff that's been referenced before, you make it that, and then the next one you change it up a wee bit. So having stuff like that to bring in for Fringe was good.
That's class, man. How's the solo show going? Looks
been
like
good actually. Yeah, like it's certainly a more. So basically, I had 3 months to write a show after I filmed my last one.
Yeah.
And all I really had to left to talk about was some personal stuff that happened in the last couple of years, and it was the stuff that I didn't put in the last show.
Yeah.
Because I was doing the King's Theatre.
Yeah.
It was a big stand-up show. The whole idea was basically it's a whole big hour of effectively like clippable bits.
Yeah.
One longer story, and the rest is all, which is kind of sort of my style.
Yeah, definitely. Because you did that last year at Monkey Bar, didn't you? It was the kind of one. What was it
called the original sound? Which just because that's what comes up when you put a thing on TikTok, and I thought that's why people are coming because they've seen clips of me. So this is just me for an hour, of that. And just because it's good to just have a name into it. Like it's hard to name shit.
Fuck man, I hear you on that. It is fuck tough going.
As we can see, they could be Brown Jewels. Jesus.
It's funny. Ray Bradshaw was in here 2 days ago, and he just like midway through the podcast, he just pointed at the screen. He was like, "I get that now." And I was like, come on, Ray, come on, man. Brown Jewels, Crown Jewels. And then you had this like light bulb moment, and me and Val were just pissing ourselves, man. I was just like,
it took a while when we clicked.
I was just like, come on, mate.
But no, so I done that, and then I had like 3 months. So I was like, I just like worked like fuck over the summer to just get to write, and then to just do. I done as many previews as I could, and so I didn't really know how it was going to be coming in, but it's been really good so far, and the audience has been reacting well to it, especially because it's, as I say, it's a bit more personal than I'm used to. It's a bit more like, it's more of a Fringe show, aka talking about something fucking tragic.
Yeah, that's it, man.
But I try and do it a light touch, and it's. I think I've hopefully get the balance right. And people,
I seen you do it in the previews, man. That switch when you kind of just introduce it. It's a very kind of like boom, it hits you, and the way your line after that is very good. To be like, this is how we dealt with it. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I've actually had to change that because I was doing that a lot in previews, and I was just. I mean, basically, I'll just say like, so my mum died a couple of years ago, and so I used to I was bringing that up, and I would just say. So I would just say that. So my mum died, and I was like, I know that's quite abrupt, but she died suddenly. Yeah. So now you know how we fucking felt, right? Yeah. But actually, I kind of go into it, and I kind of come in off the back of another story. Right. And I was saying that line for a bit, but then basically it didn't work because I wasn't actually bringing it up abruptly. I was bringing it up in relation to the previous thing. Yeah. So now I just sort of I just say it, and then I just kind of tell them, look, it's all right to laugh about this, and actually. A lot of people feel uncomfortable with laughing. I was like, well, if you don't laugh, you make me feel worse. And that's enough to settle them in, and I can just sort of talk about it. But I'll just tell you this, because like I'd say this in the show, but it is true, like, because obviously when you do, like my mum died 2 years ago, I never really thought I'd be the sort of person that would do like a, one of these Fringe trauma shows or whatever, like, or big grief, and I still am not really, even though I'm talking about it. But it's obviously a big cliche at the festival, and it's been a dead dad show or a dead parent show is something that, I think Russell Kane kind of done it about 10 odd years ago, and that was like a big one that everybody, and since then it's become a bit of a trope. Yeah. So it's a kind of thing that you do feel like you need to address, because like you need to...
If there's a big thing happening in your life, and you write about like what you do, you write about things that happen, how you can just go, well, I'm not going to talk about that.
Well, that's it. And it's like the same, I guess everything's cliched to an extent, whether it's talking about dating or politics, whatever, everything's been covered.
Yeah, that's it, man.
But the funny thing is, I say to the audience, like, just to give you an idea of how common it is. So obviously this year, Marc Maron, the American comedian, had a special on HBO. It was all about his partner passing away suddenly. So I was like, I'm not even the only Mark with a C. Spells his name with a C, who's got a comedy show about death, and then I've got like I say like, for all I know, he's got this bit, like, then I've a reference like a bit that I've got earlier on the show about it. So
it's so hard to just have something like that no one's ever thought of, and like you say, it's all going to happen to us at some point in our lives. It's going to be part of our show at some point.
That's it. And I think, do you know what's an interesting thing when you do stand up, particularly when you're starting out, is everybody's always obsessed with wanting to be hack. That's what you see all the time. That's why so many people try and hide behind like being alternative or like doing one-liners or something.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to just come out and talk real.
Yeah.
It's that's a hack. Oh, I don't want to talk about my girlfriend or my, my boyfriend or my, whatever, because it's all hack.
Yeah.
But actually, what you learn as you get more experienced is that actually the best thing to do is to just try and focus on being authentic as possible. And that still can mean, if you want to do one-liners or you want to just, do like what I sometimes call comedy in inverted commas, where it's all a bit ironic. Like James Acaster's kind of a good example of the best proponent of that, because the whole thing's a joke, really. Like he's kind of on the wind up. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole time he's not obviously an undercover cop, but all this stuff he talks on the show. But even whatever your style is, as long as you're doing it in an authentic way, even if you're making it all up, like it's just about like focusing on that and being the thingy version of yourself. But it takes so long to get.
And I think everyone's kind of got their own unique take on the like a girlfriend thing or a parent thing or something like that. And if you make that unique to you, it can't have happened to anyone else, or your own unique take on it, then it's not hack. It can never be hack if it's your opinion on something.
100%. And there's always like different angles on stuff like that, and the only thing you can bring to it as well as yourself, and if you just be that and obviously approach the material in the right way and work on it. But if you do that as yourself, then nobody can really copy you as well.
Exactly, man. I think there was something. Have you ever listened to or read Kevin Hart's book?
No, I've not.
It's good. It's really, really good, man. It's proper. When you listen to his, I say listen. I didn't fucking read it.
No.
When you listen to it, he kind of talks about how when he was doing bits about like pigeons acting all stupid and stuff like that, and someone went, "Be real, be authentic," and it's almost like a kind of like a mini like self-help book when he's talking about his autobiography, and he just talks about how that changed his whole perspective on comedy, and just started doing everything about him, and it made it real, and then he just went. Phew.
Yeah, and I actually seen a quote from him, and he was talking about when his mum died, and he started talking about, he says it was like a weight off his shoulders, and I watched the stuff about it. I know it was really good. So
there's something else you get quite into your self-help, and there's something you said once, and I've picked up, and I use this now. Right. I now manifest parking spaces in my street.
It works,
mate. I have never had so much success parking in my street since then. As I'm driving around the corner, I go, there's going to be a space, and there's always a fucking space.
All you need to do to get a parking space is believe there will be a space, and the universe will provide.
That's the only thing I ever manifest. I just want a parking space.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you start small, but no, there's a thing called The Psychology of Achievement by a guy called Brian Tracy, and he talks about it in that. He's like, he talks about how you can always get a parking space, but it's they talk about the super conscious. The universal subconscious mind or some bullshit like that. But they say that like it's just that thing of like putting your mind to something positive, with attitude and all that. But genuinely, it is uncanny how I can always get.
I mean, it is starting small. I'll probably do it more, but right just now, that parking space thing saves my life. Man. It's just, I'm always running late for shit, and I'm always just like, and I'm like, part of me as I'm doing it, I was like, thank you, Mark.
And the funny thing is as well, he actually says, even if it's a busy thing, there's always two spaces. Yeah. And see the amount of time I get two spaces, and it's because I used to always drive Stevie to gigs before he had his own motor, and the amount of times I would just be like, I'd find the two spaces or even just the one, and I'd just be like, so super conscious, mate. And he'd always like that. But we'd always get a space. So, but I think it's a powerful thing in life as well, just to like, if you can just have, belief is an important. People talk about the law of attraction, all that sort of stuff, and like, which is a thing, but it's not the only thing. Yeah, you still need to put in the work and all that stuff. And everybody thinks, like everyone slides the law of attraction because it's like, if I just think I'll be a millionaire and no doubt it'll happen.
It's actually like it's not how that works, pal.
But really, everything starts with your thoughts.
Yeah.
Before you act. Like I just thought I wanted a pizza and there's a delivery guy there. I don't know. I'll be you getting a parking ticket now because you've fucking parked in double yellow lines.
Walk in the door.
It's easy to get a parking space if you just don't give a fuck where you park as well.
So is there any kind of other is there anything else like kind of like self-help stuff that just kind of just gets you like through comedy? Is there anything like maybe one big thing that you just kind of go, right, this is going to keep me going?
I think there's a couple of things I'm into. I really love this book called The War of Art, which is by Stephen Pressfield, which is all about overcoming what he calls resistance, which is basically, for writers, it's procrastination. Yeah. For people that want to go to the gym, it's not going to the gym or eating shite. It's that force that makes you, that thing that you tell yourself, you go, I really need to go to the gym today. I could just take the day. I'll just go tomorrow and all
Oh,
that
that's
stuff.
me.
Oh,
That's
you
me.
know, I could write, but no, you know, I really need to do a Facebook ad on my show.
yeah.
I need fucking, you know, all the admin stuff that's easy
Yeah.
to do because it'll always give you a free pass to do the easy stuff.
Oh, and I do that all the time, Mark. I'm always just like, right, I'll just do this, I'll do that, and then I'll just like. The one thing for me, I always kind of procrastinate about inviting guests on, and that's what holds this podcast together.
Absolutely.
Is having guests on, and I'm always just like,
Because
I'll do that later.
it's just that thing. If it's hard, it's easier to do something that you know you can do than something that you're not sure about.
God, yeah,
And
yeah.
with something asking people on the pod is one of those things you go, oh, it's just that wee bit. You're asking somebody for something, and
Yeah.
oh, you know, if
Yeah.
you don't get back to you know, don't want to put them in a position where they feel like they need to or something.
I
Like
know, that's it.
But honestly, I would say the biggest thing in terms of in terms of doing comedy that's helped me is the idea of the growth mindset.
Yeah,
Which is something that I didn't know the words for it when I started, but I just kind of that's how I thought about things because I done my first 2 gigs, kind of just try it and stuff, and it went well enough. Done Red Rose at Stanley in Glasgow, and they went well, and I was kind of like, what happens next? And they're like, oh, you need to go and do pubs and all that. And obviously, when you start out, you're kind of maybe want to impress your pals or somebody.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't tell anyone, but you kind of think,
Yeah.
oh, I'd look cool one day. You know, I'm thinking, where's Live at the Apollo? After I've done 2 gigs, 2 5-minute
Yeah.
spots and got occasional laughs.
reality check when you have to go to the pubs after doing Red Rose.
Well, I was like, fuck that, right? So I was like, I'm not going to do that. So then I basically, it was about a year later, and I'd finished, by that time I'd finished uni. I was still at uni when I'd done my first 2, and I'd not really told anybody, but occasionally, me and my mates were always, I was like, and when I was leaving uni, I was so stupid, I was like, I'm never writing a CV. I'm just going to fucking write a sitcom, and you know, we're going to get it on the telly, and you know, that's it.
Brilliant.
And me and my mate Nick, who now like just filmed my special and stuff, he's like
class.
a filmmaker. But we both worked in supermarkets while we were at uni, and we were convinced we were going to write a supermarket sitcom, and then Trolleyed on Sky One.
Trolleyed, I was just
were,
thinking that.
we were like devastated, like, as if we'd just had something commissioned, and then they'd put that out to fuck us up,
Yeah.
like because in our head that
Fucking,
was
that's
so,
the only thing that's stopping you.
but that was the whole thing, and we were wanting to do that, and I'd sort of said to them, oh well, you know, if you can do stand up and do 5 minutes, make people laugh, that's a good way of you know, proving that we can write a good script. But I just wanted to do it anyway, so I signed up with him and my other mate who were writing with me. I wanted it with they never done it because they just didn't fancy it, and I just kept doing it. But anyway, so about a year after, I was still kind of, I wasn't really doing much. I was kind of taking a year out, just still working in supermarket and that, and then occasionally about and all that, just be chatting to people. Oh, I'm doing a bit of comedy, a bit of writing or something. I wasn't doing, and then eventually went along a show, and I was like, I should do it, and I spoke to, and I just found out about wee circuit gigs, and I went to like the Holt Bar in Glasgow, and then picked up my 3rd ever gig though. Right, to get to the point was I got this gig in Ballock, down next to Loch Lomond, in this pub. I went there, and there was 10 people at the back of the room. This is after going for doing, all I'd done was Red Rose, 200 people, and like doing well for a first gig. It's probably terrible looking back, but and then I done it, and it basically went up. I done 5 minutes of like different stuff than I'd done before, and get nothing, just silence for 5 minutes, right? But I remember thinking at that gig, I was like, well, this is the worst that I'm going to be. And that's probably as bad as it can go. Just nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Little did I know.
There's more coming.
Little did I know that the cunts can pull handguns out on you and stuff like that. Well, do you know what I mean? Right? Didn't know what lane store.
I fucking hope that's as bad as it gets for me, Mark. I really fucking hope
I
so.
know. The only worst it could get was fucking
dying.
firing the thing. But anyway, so I thought that's as bad as it probably can be, and I'm as bad as I will be. And if I just keep doing it, I will get gradually better, and I can take how bad it is at its worst, and I can persist until I get better. And because I just seen it as a skill that you could get better at, and I was confident enough myself as a writer and being able to apply myself and having a sense of humour that I never thought I'm this funny guy, but I thought if you approach comedy with the growth mindset of like, because people think this with everything, this is the fixed mindset. It's like, you know, in school you get people who go, oh, I'm not any good at maths.
Yeah.
But they just don't apply it. But if you try and you can get better at it, in comedy, most things are like that.
it's like, I think it's like almost like playing an instrument or something like that.
It's exactly like that. It's
You
learning a
pick
skill.
up a guitar for the first time, you're shite. If you pick,
Skiing, ain't like that.
yeah, you pick it up every day for a week. By the end of that week, you'll be better.
Yes.
And it's just that, and it's just keep going and going and going and going and going. Unfortunately, we just have to do it in public, in front of people.
This is it. So there's two factors that hold you back. One is resistance, which
Yeah.
is not wanting to sit down and write and work on it because that's really hard. The second thing is, as you say, you need to fail in front of people.
Fucking
and
hell.
you need to be able to withstand quite a lot of social embarrassment, really.
Yeah, yeah. You've got quite a thick skin, do you think, now? Do you
I think-
does the feeling...
I think I just never got nervous on stage.
Right.
I've never really got nervous, and I think that helps because I think I'm willing to deal. The worst possible scenario is just down your arse,
Yeah.
basically, and I can take it. And
Yeah.
for the benefits that you get of when it goes good, I'm willing to take that risk.
That's it, man.
And I think, whereas I know mates from school and stuff who wanted to do it, like
Mm.
I remember I had done in that year when I'd done those first 2 gigs and nobody knew.
Yeah.
Some of my mates from school were talking about doing it,
All right.
and I remember saying it was like a party, and I remember taking one of them aside and go, "Listen, I've done it. It's brilliant. You should do it." And all that. And they never done it. And I think the reason is because in our group of mates, they were like the funny guys,
Yeah.
and so their egos were attached to that.
They would have to be the funny guy on stage and off stage.
Yeah, and if they went up and sort of put their egos on the line in front of a room full of strangers who didn't know them and didn't, they
Yeah.
went out of their comfort zone of our social group where everybody had their defined roles.
Yeah.
If they'd done that and down their arse, they would never live it down. Whereas I was like, I was never really, my ego wasn't attached to being funny.
Yeah,
I liked
yeah.
having a laugh, and I was funny at
Yeah.
times, but I wasn't pure, I'm the main man and I'm the funny guy and I'm
Yeah,
funny
yeah,
than
yeah.
everybody else. I was just like, I can write, I like having a laugh, and I think you can apply yourself. And that's something, so it takes so often you find that
I've got mates funnier than me.
absolutely.
Way
But they
funnier
couldn't
than
do
me.
it.
No, they couldn't. They can't. I think I'm just kind of can hold like, just got like no shame. Doesn't bother me. There's like minimal nerves. It's just kind of, you just get fucking on with it.
Yeah.
I think as soon as I started, I got in it. And I was like, oh, this is exactly what I want to do. So I don't care what happens.
That's interesting.
Because I was just like, I must kind of similar things when we were starting. I was just like, my first gig, died on my arse. I was like, that's as bad. It can't be any worse than that.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, just keep learning. And I read loads of things about like the 10-year thing. Like if you get to kind of 10 years, then that's your kind of, then you probably should have learned the kind of the rules and everything like by then. I think, is it Steve Martin's book, he talks about that.
Yeah, maybe. I read
think
that a long time ago now.
And he kind of opens it by saying, I learned, it took 10 years learning stand up, 3 years at getting like fucking like amazing at it or something like
Yeah.
that. So I was like, it's 10 years. And I was like, right, I'm in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't willing to go in it for the
No,
long haul.
although there are people who've been going 10 years, but they've not really been going 10. It's like, I've been going to the gym since I was 16. I'm not a bodybuilder because you need the consistency.
Yeah.
So it's like probably the 10,000 hours thing or whatever
Yeah.
is a more thing, because it's like there's folk who've been going 10 years, but they're like a perpetual hobbyist or an open spot, or they run their own gig once
Yeah.
every blue moon, and they'll come and do the Fringe every year and do a compilation show.
Yeah.
And they're still as bad as they were when
I mean,
you
we're
started.
all talking about the same guy here, man. Shout out Ray for Dice.
Well, no just him, but no just
Don't worry,
him.
I won't put that in.
I don't really give a fuck. I only awkward thing. Just put it in after the Fringe, because I do see him like flying me every day.
I know,
and that.
yeah, fuck, man.
But I remember when he was running gigs, and I'm like, how did I get on this guy's gig, man? This is,
I thought that as well. He did a compilation show. It was like afternoon tea with Ray for Dice, and I was like, I'm gonna be in the Fringe. I can't believe that. Muchie was there, and Muchie was already probably quite jaded by this type of gig.
Sure.
And I was like, oh my god, this guy, fucking hell's his class. And then when I got to the gig and I saw how bad he was, I was like, oh, this is a big pile of shite.
Absolutely.
And it's that whole kind of thing. It then just kind of goes like, oh, I thought I was at the Fringe, but I was like, no, I'm just in a shite basement at the newsroom.
Yeah, and you realise is that it's not all of the gigs are the shite. Like, 'cause I remember like the people run shite gigs when I started and all that, and I remember doing this one, and like I was with them on, I was like, these cunts are mad weirdos, and I was like, maybe this is just what the whole circuit's like. And I remember the first time I done a gig and people were like, what the fuck? What about that cunt, man? He's a weird one. And I was like, thank God, like it's not just me. Oh God, I thought I was gonna, didn't know I was joining, but no.
It is weird when you look back when you join and you just see all these mad cunts. and you're like,
there, but for the grace of God, go I. You know.
Yeah, and you're like, is this it? And then you kind of finally kind of get away from that. You still have to kind of maybe see them every now and then, but you're just in the beginning. You were like, I can't believe how mental everyone is in this business.
It's a bit like football sometimes, because like, you know, that way, like sometimes it's like players can, let's say even Celtic or something, or Celtic or Rangers. It's like you're playing in the SPL and one you might get the Champions League and you're literally playing against like, obviously at the time it would be Messi or, you know, fucking name it. They've all fucking went to Saudi Arabia or America now. But just whoever the best players are, like De Bruyne and, you know, the Haaland and all that. Yeah. And then next week you'll be playing with some guy that went to school with me because he plays for Motherwell or whatever. Well, that's true. But but like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, and then in comedy it's like that as well. One minute you could literally be gigging with one of your heroes, but then you're doing an open mic the week after and you're doing it with some guy that's been going 10 years who's still, you know what I mean, shite. And you're in the same week, you're playing, you know what I mean, you're in the new camp and then you're in fucking Inverness Cali Thistle. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
it's
really,
exactly
and sometimes it is actually in Inverness as well, which is a tough one.
What was your first gig after the Kings? Because the Kings was a huge, big fucking milestone for you. Do you remember what your one was after the Kings?
I think I done a gig for the festival down at, they were running gigs at that place, what was it called, Slay, the nightclub.
Oh yeah.
And I went on and I could not be fucked. And there was not that many people there, and I think I just basically fucked about.
Yeah,
I could not. I should have gave myself that weekend off, but they gave me good money, and I was like,
yeah, like fuck it, let's get in it.
But they were fine with that.
Class. Have you watched the footage back from the Kings?
Yeah, we've done a kind of rough pass at the edit.
Oh, class.
It looks amazing, and I'm really, really happy with it. I think the clips will be really good as well. And it like, so I'm excited to put it out. I was kind of wanting to do it before Fringe, but my mate Nick, who filmed it with us and who's editing it, he got married in July there.
Right,
and he was away on honeymoon for the whole month. Selfish, but you know. No, but he's so, and I was a bit, because he was thinking I was wanting to put it at the end of the year, and I was like, no, I want it fucking the summer.
Yeah.
But actually, it's probably better that I put it out in, I think, the autumn. So after the Fringe, the only thing I've really got left to do at the moment is finish that edit.
Right.
And then hopefully I'm fucking just going on holiday. But then I'm waiting for just get a wee break, because I just didn't take a break after the Kings.
Yeah, I was going to say, mate, you've been walking pretty non-stop this year, man.
It's been intense because I was in Australia at the start of the year. I'd done 5 weeks at the Perth Fringe to prepare for the Kings. And I came back and I'd done like a wee UK tour, and I was just doing gigs. Gigging all summer, try to work up the show, and got to the Fringe now. So it's kind of been non-stop, but it's been great. I've been loving it, but I think sometimes after a while you get that wee work-life balance a wee bit out of sync.
Oh, massively, yeah.
I think the good thing is, after this, I'll take a wee break, and then I think the next real deadline that I'll give myself for a show is like next August.
Right.
And then I'd maybe want to do a new show at the Fringe next year, and then maybe take that on tour.
Yeah.
But I don't want to for a while put myself in that position again where I'm having to have a prepared show ready and not give myself enough time to do it. Yeah. So like even Glasgow Comedy Festival next year, probably work in progress. Yeah. Just do some wee work in progress gigs and do that, and give myself like the space to work stuff out.
Yeah. Because the headspace would be fucking great for you, man. To kind of just step back from it.
I think so. And also there's a lot of stuff I want to do with the podcast. I'm kind of in charge of that to a large extent in terms of the production side of it all. So
you're the one kind of editing into the early hours.
Well, although we've got an editor now, but I do the clips and stuff now. So I think, but ramping up the social media, there's a few other things we want to do in terms of building up, because we've got to a really cool place with it, and so we don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. We'd like to continue to grow it. Yeah, it's been in a kind of maintenance zone maybe the last couple of months, just while we've all get stuff on. But I think between now and maybe next March and on to next August, we want to kind of grow it and see where we can take it. Yeah. So having more time to do that and work on stand up in a more, like, it's been a real rush getting this new show
that's
together.
a lot. So that is a hell of a lot to just kind of do as you're trying to get ready for a show. So
it'd be nice to kind of have like things at a more steady pace, get on top of the stuff that I've got the backlog on, get rid of that, and then just do it week on week, and then be able to just maybe live life a wee bit more.
Yeah, so that's it, man. Because you need the life part.
and especially even just for material and stuff.
Yeah, and that's it. I just get obsessed on the run up to the Fringe and just like got no social life whatsoever.
That's it.
And you feel like you kind of talk to your mates and that, and they say something, you go, "Oh, I can't believe I didn't fucking know that," and everything like that. You're
Aye.
like, Jesus
And
Christ.
even sometimes tapping in with mates, because like especially when you end up gigging every weekend and stuff like that, and then it's like you end up, it's rarer that you get a night out, and then sometimes you get a night out with folk and all that. And I feel like I'm always like, see, whenever I'm on like a stag do or I'm on like a mate's birthday party and I'm just around like regular mates, I'm always like trying to like kind of probe them and see like, what podcasts are you listening to? Do you know about this thing? Like, what do you think about pronouns? All this kind of stuff. Like, what do people, like, just try to take a temperature gauge of like, what do like normal cunts like, and how much of the mad shite that I'm consuming do they know about? And all this sort of stuff. Because when you gig too much, you do lose touch with that a wee bit, and you need to just keep an oar in just what normal cunts are up to.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll like say to my mates, "Have you heard of this like stand up?" And they'll go, "No." And I'll go, "How have you not heard of that? The fucking massive everything like that." But because you're in the world, you just think everyone must know that.
And everyone's just in their own wee rabbit holes with the algorithm now. It's just like so individualised now. It's insane.
Have you got anything in your algorithm like? Because loads of mine, it's like I kind of go through sites of like weird like animal videos, everything like that. I don't know why. It's kind of just always comes back to like loads of like safari videos. Have you got
What
anything
is this
like
on TikTok?
TikTok reels, anything like that? It's kind of just loads of this. It's like stand up, and then it goes animal videos. And I didn't even know I was like into that, but I'm watching. I'm like, Jesus Christ!
Oh really?
Have you got anything like that you just kind of like?
No, not really. I think
ordinary?
well, first of all, I don't really look at TikTok at all.
Yeah.
Like all I look at on TikTok is my profile. I guess because you can see the numbers and then like the notifications.
Yeah.
I never go into that For You page because I feel like it's like just fucking like jumping down a well or something.
Yeah, I'll look at the friends, but I never go to the For You bit either. I'll go reels on Instagram and I'll waste a few like half hour here and there on that. You got not got anything any kind of?
No, I'm just as bad as MD for the phone thing, I think. But you know, I just gets to know you, done it. So yeah, it's a lot of stand up clips, like a lot of I think like Fitbit stuff and all that. Right. Just kind of like I don't know, but I don't get any animal stuff that I'm aware of. But
so fucking
not
weird.
in the jumpsuit that I'm willing to disclose anyway. Like big titted birds or whatever. But you know, fuck that. These things, you know.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's so weird that everyone just kind of got their own little thing going on, and you just automatically.
You don't, and the thing is, it's too revealing, isn't it? So you don't really want to, you know. I suppose it probably knows you better than.
Oh my god, yeah.
Than other people, you know.
Yes.
There's a time I think Instagram kind of lost control of it a wee bit, and it was these like mad weird sexualized things, like you know how you would like. Somebody's getting on TikTok and it's like just on the cusp of like being it was really porn suggestive things.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do I just like get rid of these ones? Like, if you're like reporting it or blocking it. But then I think you're still going on to it since you're wanting married.
Instagram's like, he fucking loves this.
I know, well, that's it. So protest too much, you know. So I'm like, how do you get rid of this? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
Twitter's fucked now, but it's like just.
I never got into Twitter. I was always just like, I cannot be arsed with it. Cannot be bothered with it. And I think had I been arsed with it, I might have had more of a following and I could have made more of a big deal of the fucking hostage thing. Because that kind of went. C&B's thing got more than anything I posted. His wee video. Funny. It was such a funny video, man.
So we were talking before, so you've not really spoke about this on your pod yet. What happened to you?
So yeah. So I mean, it was.
So basically, you're doing a show at the Waverley Bar.
Yeah.
And what night was this? Was
it a Wednesday night?
A Wednesday night.
Crazy. I know.
And so, did you have a full room? How many people were in?
25 in. 25 in, capacity 50.
Yeah.
So it looks busy. It feels busy. As soon as you get over 20 in that room, it feels like you're playing a busy room because it's quite like there's people here, there's people here.
And so when did you realise something was up?
Mate, it literally went from 0 to fucking 60. It went like so quickly. He heckled a bit. It was he was trying to be funny. I think this is the point I've been telling people a few things, but sorry, he was trying to be funny when he was trying to like heckle at the beginning, and then he wanted the mic. He just kept demanding the mic. He kept talking about, do you believe in magic? Do you believe in magic?
Oh.
The world would be a better place if everyone believed in magic. Told me he was like undercover police. Police were trying to kill him. Everything like this. Fucked in the head. Absolutely fucked. And then he just kept, and then he stood up and just started shouting at me. And I've never had that. So even before the gun was out, I was like, this gig is, there's no salvage in this gig. And I don't know how to get this guy out.
How long into the show was this?
Half hour in.
Right.
Half hour in, and I'm just about to get onto this story about the most unluckiest thing that's ever happened to me.
It's now done to number 2.
So yeah, and it's unhinged, man, unhinged, and there was a surreal moment where he's pointing the gun at me.
So he stands up, he starts shouting at you.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
And so then he's like, "Do you believe in magic?" And I'm like, "No." And I'm like, in my head, I was like, I think that's the kind of.
I would have been like, I wish you'd fucking disappear, mate. I would 100% have said
I wish
that.
I'd been sharp.
I'm not above that. I'm not above that.
Well, that's I'm now not above that in my set.
That's fine.
That's in my
You're
set.
welcome to have it.
Yeah, and then he's just like, "Would you believe in magic if I pulled a gun on you?" And I'm like, "No." And then he goes, "Do you believe in magic now?" And like pulls the gun out. And then so I've recorded the whole thing, and you just hear me just going like, "I do not."
You must have thought, I mean, that's like, I would have thought I was getting shot.
Oh, I did, yeah. That's it. And the newspapers have reported, like, they used the line I said, "I thought I was getting shot 100%. They've used that everywhere, like on like all the wee social media links to try and like entice people in. That's the line they used. I genuinely thought I was getting shot. I thought that was it. And it went from I thought I was getting shot. I thought I was the only one in danger. And then it goes, "Nobody freeze, nobody move, nobody leaves." And I was like, "Oh, now we're in a hostage situation."
Oh my God.
Yeah, mate.
And what did the crowd do at that point when they realised that?
Nothing. Everyone froze. Like no one like even slightly did anything.
Fucking hell.
It's so fucking wild.
And so like looked like a real pistol as well, eh?
Yeah. And again, the papers, I remember saying I thought it was a real gun. That was the line I said to them. I thought it was a real gun. They've reported that I just said I thought it was a gun, which makes it sound like there might be a bit of ambiguity here, and that it turns out it's a fucking potato or something like that. And it's just like, and I wasn't sure what it was.
Yeah.
But I genuinely thought it was a gun. And then I remember just like looking out into the audience, and I saw the looks on their faces.
Yeah.
And I just was like, "Holy shit, this is..." But when it's happening, we were in the room. It lasted 3 minutes from the guy standing up to us getting down to the street.
Yeah.
And someone asked, "How long do you think it was?" And I was like, I thought it was way longer than that. Because it just felt there was a time when I was just like looking around the room like, "Help."
And I remember you saying to me when it's packed in there, you can't even really get on the stage, or you can't get off the stage because it's
so hard, because there's people kind of like packed into that little bit. When I do Welcome to Stage Ralph Brown, people have to kind of sit like that to kind of let me past. It's so hard to get up onto the stage, and the people were very generous. I mean, like, "Okay, let's move up."
So did you get off first, and then people left,
I was still quite.
Because right, so here's my thing as well, right? Because like, so he does this, and then like, is that the point that you just drop the pretense that you had to kind of keep the crowd on side or say it in funny or whatever?
Yeah. I was still being like quite like a little bit argumentative with him though, because I was still just like, I can't believe this fucking guy's doing this.
No.
And then he tries to he just wants the mic. That's what I now realise after I listened to it again. He just wants the mic. He just wants to solve the world's problems in under 2 minutes. That was his whole thing.
God. But you're thinking he's going to solve the problems of the world by killing me?
Yeah, that's it, man. I was just like, this guy, and all the audience have said after that he was just so unhinged, he was so unpredictable, we didn't know what he was going to do.
Yeah.
So he wants the mic, that's all he wants. As soon as he got the mic, he just gave me the gun.
Did he?
Yeah. Wow. I know. And
did you still think it was a real gun at this point?
Yeah.
That must have been the most relieving moment of your life.
Oh my God.
When your apprehender just hands you the gun. So you go, "So what is the deal with airplane food?" All the world's problems can be solved in 2 minutes.
Yeah. And it's just, as soon as but when he handed me it, he told me it wasn't real. Oh. Afterwards, he kind of said, "Have the gun," and then he's like, "It's not real." And he's like, "Did you think I was going to shoot you?" And I was like, "Oh, fucking, I would fucking hope."
So he told
not.
you, he didn't tell you straight away that it wasn't real?
Yeah. He just he gave me the gun. And then like a bit after, he's just like, "It's not real."
So you hand him the mic, he hands you the gun, and then do you just all leave?
Well, as he steps up onto the stage,
or did they give him a shot?
I was like, this is like Red Raw all over again, man. As he kind of steps up onto the stage, this is the papers reported that I tried to wrestle him.
Right.
And I did not try to wrestle him. I was kind of like, as he stepped
He's
up
just
onto
got
the
a gun
stage.
at this point wrestling.
Exactly. As he steps up onto the stage, it's so small, that stage, I kind of tried to like, saw a wee opportunity to try and maybe get the gun off him as I kind of like was kind of coming down off the stage.
Oh, that's brave.
But
to
all
even
that
try
happened is I
that.
just fucking fell off the stage.
Oh,
I just fell off the stage and he calls me a wee fucking dafty.
wow.
And then
So is he got the mic and the gun at this
he's
point?
got the mic and the gun, and then he gives me the gun, and then he's just like, "Is anyone willing to listen? I'll solve the world's problems. You can stay or you can leave, but if you're willing to stay, I will solve the world's problems."
And what did the audience do?
Everyone got up and left. But you know what's quite funny is I was standing here, and so he gave me the gun, and I saw people started kind of legging it at the back of the room. And I remember this so clearly. There was a wee Spanish couple here next to me as I was sat down here, and I turned to the guy and I went, "Mate, take the gun and get out. Take the gun and get out." And he just looked down at the gun and just went, "Nope." And I was like, "That is fair."
I don't think I would have been letting that gun leave my fucking hands if I had been in that situation.
Well, yeah, it was bizarre. But at this point, he said it wasn't real. But again, it looked real. It felt real. So I was just like, I don't know.
Part of you tempted to just shoot at the ground or something. So what was it? A BB gun?
Yeah, the papers are saying like BB gun replica, everything like that.
Did I take it wasn't fired at any point and you seen what came out yet?
Nah. But when the firearms people come, so basically everyone leaves. He comes down at the streets, argues with me because I'd hid the gun, but I told him it was back upstairs. So he goes back upstairs, tries to stall for time and everything like that. Comes back down, starts shouting at me again, and the audience we're not even taking him seriously anymore.
So hold on, right? So did you try and carry on with the gig?
No. As soon as we got that, and as soon as he gave me the gun, people started legging it out. So we all then left at that point.
And then it went downstairs.
We went downstairs into the street. People would phone the police.
Oh yeah. So you try to keep him there,
Try to keep him upstairs.
right?
But what I didn't realise is that my friend's mum, who had came to see my show, who's like in her 60s, she's kind of quite infirm, she can't move. She was still upstairs because she couldn't leave. So I'm sending the guy back up into the room. And he was like, he's also the manager of the Waverley Bar as well. So he was like, "You fucking bastards, just doing that."
Apart from that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? For fuck's sake. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. And so she filmed it. And weirdly, this video is like, I've met people who have seen the video. She filmed the guy, and I've not talked about this on the podcast yet. Filmed the guy from inside the thing. He starts shouting his name. He starts saying he's a millionaire. He starts saying all this stuff about this is brilliant. He wants to play the king at a game of chess to see, and whoever wins will determine if magic is real or not.
Right.
I was like, I don't think that's how that works, mate. That's a fucking steep game of chess.
Yeah.
So he's doing all this. And my friend's mum is just filming at the back of the room. And I'll show you after, man. It's insane.
That's crazy, man.
And then,
And did he seem like a junkie or something?
nah,
Or
just
like,
seemed like a guy who'd properly checked out. He just lost the plot. And so this was it. So he had a
By
scoop.
the way, I feel sorry for your listeners if I had to sit listening to me talk shit about parking spaces. And fucking the law of attraction
mate, don't
for
worry about it.
30 minutes before we get to the good stuff.
No, so there was something I've told. It's he had a squeaky toy in his pocket.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
it.
is like
Prop
I would
comic,
be
mate.
shite myself, man. With this stuff.
And
This is like the fucking makings of like a serial killer or something.
well,
guy.
I told this next bit, and Connor was like, "Oh, this is like the Scottish Joker." It's exactly. He was trying to be funny. He was trying to do wee bits in between all the hostage bits, and he went, "Listen to this, too good to miss." Da-da-da-da, squeak, squeak, and squeak the toy, and the whole room is just like, "What in the fuck is going on right now?" And it was like he just wanted to get up on stage. It's like, do you have any idea how easy it is to put on a Fringe show, mate? It is so easy. Just get a venue and you're sorted.
What the hell?
So he just wanted the mic. Wouldn't have been out of place at an open mic night, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Other than the gun. That's scary, man.
Yeah.
So then the police came and did they take take a statement for you?
Take a statement from me. Took it honestly.
Did he get arrested?
Yeah, he got arrested, man.
Wow.
They phoned me the other day to tell me he's been detained under the Mental Health Act and all that.
Really? God's sake.
I know. So yeah, he's fucking hopefully will not get out for a long time.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if he knew, like, if he could find me again on my show. I think a lot of people were like, "Did you know him? Did you know him?" And I think people were like, I've never done anything to like wrong someone that much that they put a gun on me. But he was just absolutely fucked in the head, man.
And how are you feeling now about it? Because it must have shook you a lot. I know you took the next day off and stuff.
Yeah, it's so weird, man, because it kind of just like, I don't really know how to feel. I'm just trying to get on with things, and people are like, "Oh my god, you must be traumatized," and I'm like, I don't feel like I am.
I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to make the best of it, because I mean, I did not sell out the Fringe run off the back of this. I'm just trying to, if anything, I've got like a new 10.
Aye, that's it. Well,
I'll have like a new 10 by the end of the month.
Well, Scott Agnews on podcast, and he said everything is copy, and that's the same. And it goes back to what I was saying at the start. It's like, look, you can't really choose what happens in your life, but you can certainly make material out of it when it happens.
Yeah.
And that's fucking cracker. And it's certainly, if cunts can get fucking shows that are, greeting because one person turned up to their show at the start of the year that they posted last year as well, then surely you can get some fucking, some traction out of that. Because you obviously, as you say, been on the papers and stuff like that. So how's it been since with all that stuff?
It blew up locally, like Edinburgh Evening News, STV did a bit. But the Edinburgh Evening News were genuinely the only ones who bothered their arse getting in touch with me.
Really? So you've not been on the New York Times or anything like that yet?
Nothing like that, man. Roscoe sent the thing round loads of journalists to try and kind of get.
But he last year kidded on there's a guy wanking in the back of his
show.
That is true. But the boy who cried wolf for Roscoe.
Yeah, funny. Loads of people have been trying to help, like to try and get it out there, because I've not got any contacts like that.
No, I know. Well, it's funny because I've spoken about this in podcasts before, but I think I was saying to you the other night, because I was doing the Free Fringe years ago, and what happened was basically somebody sprayed me with a water pistol on my show. But what had happened was, and I just thought it was something random at first, but actually I'd been seeing this. Like, a lassie came to my show, and then it asked me for a drink. I went for a drink and all that. Went back to her place, and she was just a bit like, she was showing. I know to go into too much detail, but she was showing a few red flags and stuff like that. But unhinged behaviour to the point where I was like, look. And then actually she came over to mine and I'm like, because fool me once, and then I couldn't get her to leave the flat, and like she was being really insistent that it was quite a problem, and I was like, fuck right. So when I eventually managed, she did leave, I was like, right, I'm not going to contact her again. Yeah. I remember reading a message from her she sent after that, and then like I fell asleep like during the Fringe. I went for a nap, and then I woke up and she'd like seen I'd left her on red, and was like, well, fuck you then, kind of thing, right? So I was like, right, I guess I just don't need to deal with this again. Yeah. So then like it was like the last Thursday of the Fringe, and I was doing the Free Fringe. Marilyn Robertson was actually, she was on before me. That was the first time I met Marilyn. Right. And she would always be nice and do my door for me. Oh, class. And so I kind of turned up and the crowd were all in, so I didn't see him doing all that. Go on stage, and probably about half an hour into what was like a 45-minute show at that point, this wee like noise goes after the back of the room. It's like that mad Mexican tune. Oh yeah. It was somebody's phone. I was like, "He's alright." It was a bit of commotion, and they didn't respond. And you know what I mean? You just get this sense sometimes as well in stand up. You're like, there's something quite no right in the room, and I couldn't quite tell. All I could see for the back was like kind of shadow or something. It kind of looked like it had long hair. It was quite dark, and like maybe it was like, as if it was like a moustache, like, but maybe even sunglasses as well. Couldn't really see, and I was just kind of, he's okay, and whatever. And then it happened again a few minutes later. I was like, he's alright, and I was just like, look, and I was kind of thinking they weren't responding. So I was like, maybe they've just like they're kind of tourists and they've snuck in. Yeah. They maybe don't speak English or not good, and they're like, I don't understand what a Scottish guy's saying. So I was just kind of look, see if he's like in the wrong show or he's need to leave. Like, he's totally fine, no bother at all, right? And then because they just didn't respond, and then because I got derailed, I ended up just telling this story about something I'd seen that day at another show where it was Lauren Pattinson, right? Who's a Newcastle comic, and she had a bit about ghosting, and she asked the crowd at one point, she went, does anybody not know what ghosting is? And there's a one wee old guy in our show, and he puts his hand up like this, and she never seen him, and so she put his hand back down. And me and Steve began seeing it, and we were like, we were laughing so like good. Fuck. And then I was just like, he's like, my wife's a ghost, is that what it is? You know what I'm saying? So I just told that story to my crowd because it happened that day, and I'd just been derailed. Little did I know, somebody in my show who I've ghosted, right? Who'd obviously turned up.
Triggered her.
I triggered her, so she decided to trigger a fucking water pistol that she'd obviously planned to do anyway, right? So the next thing you know, they stood up. I still don't see who this is, because like they said, they just shout something like "fuck you" or something like that. Right? It sprayed me, like water pistol sprayed me a couple of times. I actually missed me and hit the back of the wall, but that's what happened. And then they just run out. I'm like, what the fuck? The whole crowd's like, what the fuck? We're just like, what has just happened? For the next 5 minutes, we're just reacting to that. And then I just kind of need to do the rest of the show.
Yeah.
And then in the bucket speech, I'm like, you know, you try to get money at the end for people and say, and so I'm like, as a joke, I'm like, right, so, and guys, please try and give generously because I need to pay the people to turn up every day and spray me with a water pistol.
Yeah.
And then get in, and then I went down and after the show, and I said to like the bouncers and that, I was like, you'll never believe it just happened in my show. Like, these people came in and sprayed me with a water pistol. I went, oh, a water pistol? They're just over there. I turned around, it was them. They turned up with disguises on, like sunglasses and fake moustaches they'd bought, and bought a fucking water pistol.
That's a lot of effort.
A lot of effort, and I turned up and they were fucking steaming. It was her and her pal, and I just went, what are you doing? And she's like, you never text me back. And I was like, this kind of behaviour is why.
Yeah, like, oh, come on in.
But she then gave me the water pistol, and I think I've still got it in the house somewhere. I took a picture that night, and just, it was a mental story. But like you say, it's like, see if I had the PR nous at that point, I could have probably got some free publicity out of it. But I just posted my Instagram and just had just a mad story. But it was always weird because I always, like, cause, you know, if you heard like some lassie went along and sprayed a guy with a water pistol, you think, oh, we must have done something bad.
Yeah.
But I genuinely was just like, I was just like,
if they're willing to do that to a show, Mark, that says what kind of a person they are.
Well, that's it. But the funny thing is, and it's similar to your thing of like, because when you're on the free fringe, you get free tickets. And you're listed somewhere every day. Yeah. Anyone can just turn up and do whatever they fucking want to you. So
yeah.
I'm hoping that a £7 barrier for entry is enough to stop that happening again in future.
I want to see just before the fringe, I was like, right, should I try and just like film loads of bits? Because I was doing a little bit of crowd work at the start of the fringe. And I was about 10 seconds away from texting you to be like, what kind of camera do you use, Mark?
Aye.
And then I just kind of went, oh, do you know what? I don't have the money for it just now. I'll do it on the 14th. I'll get the camera on the 14th. I'll speak to Mark at some point and I'll find out what camera he uses. And because I was going to film every gig.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I'd had that, that would have just been, I mean, the audio was enough.
Yeah.
The audio was wild enough. And I probably won't put it out. But to have that on clip.
That would have been insane.
Oh my God, man. Yeah. So I literally so close to being like, Mark, help me out with this camera. And I just fucking never done it, man. But if I had.
Well, that's a good reason to like do it in future, because you never know the next time somebody's going to turn up with a handgun and try and kill you. Because that would be, you know, and I mean, the thing is, even if he had shot you and you died, if you got that footage, I mean,
gold.
That would have, you know what I mean, posthumously
gone viral.
Viral, you know. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that, like, fucking going viral on it, and like you're not going to get the benefit of it.
I know, mate. It's so annoying. So I'm probably going to write a show about it next year, and that's all becomes part of it. The fact that it didn't go viral, the fact that the papers didn't cover it, it's all on the set. It's all, and people are laughing about it so much.
What do you need to do?
This is the line.
What do you need to do?
What do I need to do to sell out my friend show?
There used to be a Seinfeld bit, and he said he once seen a guy on the telly, and he like it was something like he caught a bullet in his teeth, and he says, I don't even know that guy's name.
Yeah, it's like, what does he have to do to be remembered?
No, he's like, I think if he knew that you wouldn't even remember his name, he would have not bothered. I know he did it.
But right, well, cheers for coming in, man. This has been class. Thanks for
having me, Ralph.
There's just 2 more bits before you go. It's just like you get to suggest a guest for a future episode that I've got to try and get on. So anyone you find really funny, I'll try and get them on for a future episode.
Is it going to be like Scottish based?
It can be Scottish based, but anyone kind of further down the line, they might be around about in Edinburgh.
I tell you should get on Darren Connell, because he's just funny as fuck.
I've never met Darren.
Darren's really funny. He's a lovely guy, and he would I think he would definitely be up for coming on. And he's a brilliant comic, very similar to Gareth Much, I think, in a certain way of like I always say to him, I wish I gigged with him more. Yeah. I don't know what he's up to half the time. He's doing his podcast, and it's great, and definitely like and I've done it recently, and he's a great chat. So I think you would got on well. So
class, man. Dan Connell, class. Nice one. And is there any like films, albums, TV shows that you've watched recently do you think more people should watch?
Oh, that's interesting.
Or any like books, anything like that?
I would just recommend that one I mentioned earlier on, Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck, which is the thing about growth mindset. It's really interesting. Or The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, and the follow-up Turning Pro is great as well, if anyone's interested in all that sort of shit.
But cheers for coming in, man.
No bother, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.